evening and welcome to this edition of News Leader. Today is Tuesday, June the 28th, 2022. I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, we hear from Thomas Davis at Tullahoma's Juneteenth celebration. The FDA has banned Juul e-cigarettes, and Montlow's Mechatronics receives yet another endorsement. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader. Miller Lite and Michelob Ultra invite you to celebrate America's independence at Fraser McEwen Park in Tullahoma, Sunday, July 3rd. Gates open at 3 p.m. and live music featuring vinyl radio and 6-wire begin at 5, plus a world-class fireworks show at 9:15. This event is free to attend and loaded with food vendors, games, inflatable water slides, and fun for the whole family. Miller Lite and Michelob Ultra want to see you at the Independence Day celebration, Fraser McEwen Park in Tullahoma, Sunday, July 3rd.
I am tremendously blessed to be living at Parkview and very happy to be part of a loving and caring community.
Best thing you can say is this really a great place to live. That's all there is to it, no doubt about that.
It's your home. You just do what you would if you were at your private home. You know, we love it. It's great.
It's just like having a whole neighborhood around you, and it's fun.
It's just a great place to live.
Welcome back. We continue with our coverage of Tullahoma's first Juneteenth celebration with some words from Speaker Thomas Davis about what it was like to grow up in Tullahoma.
All right, I am Thomas LeVar Davis. I am born and raised in Tullahoma, Tennessee. I take Tullahoma with me no matter where I go. All right, I've been in Murfreesboro for about 20 years, but only people I deal with in Murfreesboro are from Tullahoma. So I'm a big advocate of our community. I like to come back home and do things for the community. One of the things that we have done now, we have formed a nonprofit, I think Royce spoke on it. It's called Focus and Follow Through INC. Well, Focus and Follow Through, our mission is to help the youth with their transition into adulthood. Some of the things we help them with is financial assistance, mentorship programs, and it's trying to create an overall positive environment so that they may reach their full potential. Now, I want to talk to you today a little bit about what a positive environment is, because coming from Tullahoma, especially as a young black man, we always was the minority. Even coming up in school, you might have 2 or 3 black kids in your school. So we really suffered with an identity crisis. And I can remember very vividly, it was 4 men in my life that I can say, when they were around, they were the ideal of what you want to be like and who you want to be. 2 of them are sitting right here. The first of them is Mr. Cooley. Mr. Cooley, if y'all don't know, if you went to Tullahoma High School or Tullahoma Fair School, he was the PE teacher. So Mr. Cooley was the first one to actually put discipline into our lives, because me as a young man, I was raised by 5 women. No men, all my uncles were in and out of prison. My dad didn't really deal with me, so my great-grandmother, my grandmother, all my aunties was what raised me. So I never knew what a man was supposed to be or what a man wasn't supposed to be until the first man I bumped into was Mr. Cooley. And Mr. Cooley, number one, he was a very handsome man, he was muscular, and he was light-skinned. So those were things, you know, as a young youth in Tullahoma that you wanted to be. Not only that, Mr. Cooley also implemented integrity. When he said something, he meant it. He spoke with a purpose. So I don't know if you know Mr. Cooley, but you influenced my elementary life. From K to 5th grade, you was the model of what a man was supposed to be to me, all right? So then, as I got older, about 4th or 5th grade, I grew up also in the church at Mount Zion Baptist Church. And anybody that went to Mount Zion knows Mount Zion was very, very known for its Sunday schools. And the man who held the Sunday school was Mr. J.C. Dunlap, all right? Then J.C. should take all the kids to Dairy Queen after Sunday school. I think that was his pitch. Like, if you come to Sunday school, I'm gonna get you an icy or a sundae. So, I mean, it wasn't a kid in Tullahoma that didn't go to the Mount Zion Baptist Church and didn't get a sundae from Mr. JC. Now, what Mr. JC showed me, coming from Tullahoma and being a minority, was the first time I got to see black people as a majority. About my 5th grade year, Mr. JC took the Mount Zion church bus and he decided to take us all to TSU for the homecoming. Talking about a culture shock. I remember we pulled up in that van, y'all, right in the middle of the parade. We ain't even in the parade, but Mr. JC had us right in the middle of the parade, and he just let us go. He was like, I think what he was really trying to show us was that there's people out here that are like you who aren't drug dealers. There's people out here that are like you who aren't basketball players. There's people out here that are like you that are doctors, lawyers, have gone to college, have graduated on to be greater things. And I believe he wanted to show us that at an early age because that was very influential to us. And if you kind of do your history with a lot of kids from Tullahoma, a lot of them go to TSU. The reason being is because of Mr. J.C. Dunlap. Now, the third influential person is also sitting right there, Mr. Crutchfield. Mr. Crutchfield, even though when I grew up in Mount Zion, I grew up with Pastor Reverend Taylor, I didn't know what Reverend Taylor was talking about, y'all. That's no knock. I was just young, and I really didn't understand. Pastor Crutchfield preached to me. He touched my soul. He told me about God. He taught me about Jesus. He taught me what a man was supposed to be and what a man wasn't supposed to be. Reverend Crutchfield and Mr. Cooley were the type of man, when they walked around, you straightened up. Okay? You ain't cuss, you walked a straight line. That's another thing that I've noticed that in our community we don't have. Nowadays, it used to be a certain figure that would walk in and you knew to straighten up. Miss Peggy was another one. But anyway, so after Mr. Crutchfield, the last one was Lamont Snipes. Now, Lamont Snipes was the first black basketball coach I do believe that we had in my generation for sure. Now, Lamont Snipes, oh man, he was a very, very classy man. Lamont was very classy. He always had the nice cars, and he always he had the great jobs. He always implemented what I wanted to be as a man.
And we'll be right back with more from Mr. Davis after these messages.
MacArthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words.
Welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at MacArthur Manor, we'll treat you like family.
Caring.
Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest.
Engaging.
With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at MacArthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
Hi, I'm Fran Gray with Alzheimer's Tennessee. When you receive a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease for yourself or someone you love, please know that you do not have to go through this journey alone. Alzheimer's Tennessee is here for you to provide support and education, all the help you may need to get through this challenge. Our number is 931-434-2348. We encourage you to give us a call. We're here to help.
Welcome back. We now conclude Thomas Davis's presentation at Tullahoma's Juneteenth celebration.
As I started growing older, I grew up on the south side of town, which is, you went to east or you went to west. You had the east side and the west side in Tullahoma. Well, even with me growing up on the east side, on the Bardock, I was dying to get on this side of town, y'all. Like, I wanted to know more about what this side of town was all about. And it had a negative, at the time it had a negative, I guess, narrative to it. You know, everybody was like, you don't want to go on that side of town. I can remember very vividly my coach not want to drop me off on this side of town. And I never knew why. And it wasn't until I got to this side of town and we started hanging out right here. CD Stamps. CD Stamps taught me how to be a man, taught me how to play ball, taught me how to fight. I got my first kiss at CD Stamps. I did my first show at CD Stamps. They used to have this thing called putting on the hints. Mr. Singleton used to throw them all the time. So when they speak about community, it was a time where Tullahoma was a community, where you couldn't go anywhere without somebody telling Dimple Noon or Mama Carrie on TT if he did anything. So I can remember very vividly when I went to hang out in those projects, and my auntie Van used to come and get me, boy, and embarrass me and whip my butt. And I used to be so embarrassed, like, why would they do me like that? But now I know why. I know why, because at the time I was influenced by the wrong things. See, it came to a point once when we got to middle school where your heroes changed. Around middle school, all your heroes were your basketball players, your Antonio Londons, things of that nature. But then all of a sudden, drugs came into this neighborhood. And all of a sudden, those became the guys that you looked up to. Now, it wasn't because they carried guns. It wasn't because they sold drugs. It's because they had the things that you wanted in life. They had the nice cars, they had the women, they had the jewelry. So, as crazy as it sounds, I can remember very vividly, when I was 18, it was all set up for me to go to TSU. My auntie Pooh went the year before. But see, I had already got on this side of town, had been influenced, because at the time, the other man was taken away. All the men that was influential, either they were older or they was in prison. So now, this is what I'm seeing as this is what I'm viewing as success. So, of course, when I graduate high school, I don't want to go to TSU. I want to be the biggest drug dealer I can be. So that's exactly what I tried to be. Now, the blessing came for me was when, as soon as I turned 18, they had these things called indictments, and they indicted the whole side of town, taking us all to jail. Now, believe it or not, to me, that was a rite of passage. That's how twisted my mind was. I didn't want to go to college. I felt like now I'm going to get these stripes that I've always wanted. Now I can say, yeah, I did that time. I did that prison time. I'm a man. This is what I'm looking at as a man at the time. So it wasn't until I went to prison and I seen, the second time I seen this as a majority, but it was in prison. I'm looking around. This ain't TSU. This is prison. All these men look like me, think like me, but somehow we've all fallen into the same trap. And this trap that I believe is we lost the influence from the black man and the black father in the homes. Like I said, I never grew up with a man in my family, in my life. So the man I had was Mr. Cooley, Mr. Crutchfield, Mr. J.C. Dunlap, Mr. Snipes. But after I moved on in my life, one thing I learned about when you have kids, Johnny can attest to this, you never stop raising them. I don't care if they're 18, I don't care if they're 25, I don't care if they're 22. You're always trying to implement positive things into their life, because once you don't, these kids will go astray. And the things that we look up to, a lot of times, are different than what other kids look up to. So what I want to do is encourage all the black fathers in here to be the role model in your kid's life. Don't let Tupac be the role model in your kid's life. Don't let Steph Curry be the role model in your kid's life. You be the role model in your kid's life. Because believe you me, they're always looking at you first. The only time they go to Steph Curry or the next person is when you're not paying attention. So that's my time for today. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the Juneteenth. I'm very proud to be a part of this Juneteenth because I think Tullahoma definitely needs this. Shout out to Jamie. Shout out to Royce. Thank you very much.
Last week, the Food and Drug Administration announced it was denying marketing authorizations for all Juul e-cigarettes, thereby making them an illegally marketed product. The U.S. Surgeon General says the product has had a negative impact on the physical and mental health of America's youth. By holding Juul accountable and prioritizing public health over corporate profiteering, the FDA is making a decision that public health advocates have been calling for, along with the removal of all flavored e-cigarettes, including menthol. FDA noted in its denial of Juul's application that there was insufficient toxicological evidence to determine that keeping them on the market would be appropriate for the protection of public health, the standard by which the FDA must evaluate tobacco products. And the history of Juul makes it clear that these products, owned in part by Altria, the maker of Marlboro, have no place in our society. Congressional hearings in 2019 about Juul's role in the youth e-cigarette crisis provided, with the company's own testimony and documents, startling evidence that since virtually day one of its existence, the company employed numerous strategies and tactics targeting young people, including the use of social media influencers, attempts to infiltrate school programs, and even funding summer camp programs for children as young as 8. The result, by 2018, Juul had captured an astonishing 75% share of the e-cigarette market, and even more shocking had been the driver behind a youth vaping rate that at its peak included 27.5% of high school students as regular e-cigarette users, and was so ubiquitous in youth culture that school bathrooms were dubbed Juul rooms. Now that the FDA has taken action on the brand that ignited the youth vaping epidemic, the agency plans to act without further delay on other e-cigarette products that are sustaining it by continuing to target youth. Anti-youth smoking group Truth has advocated for the FDA to comprehensively remove all flavored tobacco products, including menthol, from the market. Furthermore, stating that the FDA should immediately remove all unreviewed e-cigarettes which were supposed to have been evaluated by September 9th, 2021. In reference to adult smokers, the Truth Initiative supports regulation that encourages the development of consistently less harmful nicotine delivery alternatives that allow smokers to quit altogether or switch completely to a much less harmful, well-regulated product. For the many young people who want to quit vaping nicotine, support exists through This Is Quitting, a free and anonymous text message program from Truth that has enrolled nearly 500,000 young people, providing them with support to help them quit. Truth Initiative also offers free digital and community-based quit smoking programs for adults through becomeanx.org. And after these messages, we'll be right back.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia-Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails. Welcome back. Montlow State Community College announced that it has earned ARM Institute endorsement. ARM stands for Advanced Robotics for Manufacturing. The endorsement recognizes programs that prepare students for manufacturing careers working with robotics. Montlow provides mechatronics options, including the Mechatronics Associate's degree, Mechatronics Associate's degree with a concentration in robotics, or a Mechatronics certificate. The high-wage, high-demand program prepares you for a career in fields such as automotive, power production, manufacturing, robotics, and more. The ARM Institute is the nation's leading collaborative in robotics and workforce innovation, working at the confluence of industry, government, and academia. Structured as a public-private partnership, the ARM Institute and its 300-plus member organizations catalyze robotic technologies and education solutions to strengthen the U.S. industrial base and secure U.S. manufacturing resiliency. The Institute is sponsored by the Department of Defense, and its diverse membership base includes startups, research universities, community colleges, manufacturers of all sizes, government agencies, workforce development organizations, and more. The ARM endorsement program is a thorough process used to identify organizations that are most effective at preparing students for careers in manufacturing working with robotics. The program was conceptualized and created through the ARM Institute's 300-plus member national consortium, giving equal voice to the need of manufacturers, education providers, and government stakeholders. The program leverages the ARM Institute's competency and skills framework that outlines the career options and skills needed for manufacturing career working with robotics. The endorsement criteria are comprehensive, evaluating both organizations and their programs based upon the following benchmarks: relevance to the industry, effective curriculum, efficiency of the training impact of the program, program sustainability, and transportability. Larry Flatt, Executive Director of Automation and Robotics Training at Montlow, said, quote, "ARM's endorsement of Montlow's mechatronics and our Automation and Robotics Training Center is a valuable asset for us. It will provide greater networking opportunities for us across the nation. Additionally, it will be a mechanism to help promote the facilities and resources that are located at our training center. We look forward to growing our partnership with such a prestigious organization and other entities with the same endorsement." End quote. Montlow conducts training with certified instructors, resulting in industry certifications from many leading companies. Lisa Maschi-Antonio, ARM Institute Chief Workforce Officer, said, quote, "We are pleased to recognize elite organizations for preparing workers for Industry 4.0 careers. Effective training will be key to our nation navigating the mounting skills gap and workforce shortage in manufacturing. Recognizing top-tier programs will help students identify the best training for their desired manufacturing career, end quote. Endorsed programs are highlighted on roboticscareer.org, the ARM Institute's national capability that connects students and workers with robotics education programs for manufacturing careers. Motlow invites interested parties to visit motlow.edu for more information about its mechatronics and automation and robotics training career opportunities. And we'll be right back with more news after these messages.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
To be honest, I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
I checked what the CDC says and spoke with my doctor about the potential side effects. It definitely made me much less anxious. She told me if I have some arm pain or feel tired, that's completely normal as my body builds a defense to the virus.
I was willing to take the vaccine to protect me, my family, and my friends.
Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Welcome back. We close out our Bonnaroo coverage with the final song performed by artist Maggie Rose at the private press-only performance. In this clip, she sings her song, I Am Not a Saint.
This is a song definitely goes with all of us giving ourselves a little grace. Let your freak flag fly this week at Bonnaroo. This is called I'm Not a Saint, which is very much the truth. I've got a cloud over my head when I wake up that I seem perfect on paper, couldn't be further away. Feels like there's a crowd of people that I disappoint, places that I've been avoiding, full of hearts I left on the way. I'm only human, I've made my mistakes. It's hard to feel high when you're falling from grace, but I'll keep falling. I'll keep falling. To all of the lovers I ended up leaving, I've got a restless heart, changes with the seasons. To all of the futures I couldn't see me in, I'm watching my halo fade. Maybe I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint. Voices are loud, telling me what I should act like. Maybe I don't wanna act right. I don't care what people say. I'm only human, I've made my mistakes. It's hard to feel high when you're falling from grace, but I'll keep falling. I'll keep falling. To all of the lovers I ended up leaving, I got a restless heart, changes with the seasons. To all of the futures I couldn't see me in, I'm watching my halo fade. Maybe I'm not a saint. I'm not a saint. I'm not
And don't forget to tune in to this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include Tullahoma Parks and Rec Director Dave Anderson, who will tell us all about this Sunday's Tullahoma Independence Day celebration. Musician Daniel Zukowski will come by and give us a preview of his upcoming South Jackson Goes Country performance. And Cheryl from the Tullahoma Animal Shelter will bring by Winston, the shelter's Doggy of the Month. All that and more on this week's Living. And stay with us, we'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
There's a lot of talk about the risks associated with the COVID-19 vaccine, but the reality is, it's safer than going for a run. Give it a shot. Find a free appointment today at covid19.tn.gov.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this date. Our record high was in 2012 at 101 degrees. Our record low was in 1970 at 52 degrees. The average high for this day is 86, and the average low is 67. Partly cloudy for tonight with a low of 64. Mostly sunny for Wednesday with a high of 88 and a low of 67, and a 30% chance of storms for Thursday with a high of 88 and a low of 68. And that's our News Leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. for News Leader. Stay safe and have a great evening.